Tonight, I'm standing at the mouth of a cave that every map calls unremarkable, yet the trees around it lean inward, like they're listening. My flashlight catches a chain across the entrance. It's been cut clean through. From somewhere deeper inside comes a low sound. Not wind, not water, a hum. I ended up in Beckett Ridge by accident. An accident that feels small at first. I was driving west through rural Pennsylvania in late October, a week after my father's funeral. He was a man of routines. Coffee at 6, the paper at 6:30. A belief that most mysteries could be explained if you looked long enough. I inherited that belief. But after he died, it had nowhere to go. So I didn't rush home to Chicago. I let the road decide. It began to drizzle at dusk. Not a storm, just enough rain to soften the edges of things. My phone lost signal. The gas needle dropped. Then Beckett Ridge appeared. A few lights, a water tower. One gas station with a flickering sign. Mart and Fuel. Inside, the air smelled like old coffee and rubber. A radio murmured behind the counter.
The woman working there looked up and smiled politely. "Passing through?" she asked. "Yeah." Near the door, a corkboard held flyers. Lost pets, church dinners, and one warning. No trespassing. Do not enter Bryer Cave. Under County Order 16-044. It didn't look official. It looked tired. "What happened at the cave?" I asked. Her eyes flicked to the board, then away. Nothing that concerns travelers. An older man stepped in, rain dripping from his cap. He followed my gaze and made a sound like a laugh he stopped himself from finishing. "You don't go to Bryer Cave," he said. "Why not?" "Because it's a hole that takes more than it gives." I should have listened. But some stubbornness comes from running from your own mind. I stopped at a diner called Mabel's because the neon promised hot pie. The coffee tasted burnt but honest. A waitress with a braid set down a menu. "You're not from here." "Chicago." "That's a long way to be rained on." Near the register were old photographs. One showed people standing in front of a dark opening in the hillside. Bryer Cave, opening day, 1973.
Everyone was smiling. The cave mouth looked wider than it should have been, like the hill had opened its jaw. "It used to be a tourist thing?" I asked. "It was," she said. Everyone was smiling. The cave mouth looked wider than it should have been, like the hill had opened its jaw. "It used to be a tourist thing?" I asked. "It was," she said. "Before, it wasn't." "What changed?" She hesitated. "People got hurt." That night, sleep wouldn't come. The motel heater clanked. Rain tapped the window. I opened my bag and took out the wooden box I'd taken from my father's closet. Inside was a folded map, soft from being handled too often. A blue circle marked one spot. Bryer Cave. Check old surveys. Dated October 14th, 1996. My father had been here when I was 9. Along the margins were notes. Ask about the hum. Not wind, not water. County sealed it. Why? My chest tightened. This wasn't curiosity. This was unfinished. The next morning, fog lay low over Beckett Ridge. The public library smelled like dust and old paper. Behind the counter, a man with gray hair listened quietly as I asked about Bryer Cave. When I said my father's name, he froze. "Thomas Hale," he said slowly. "I remember him." He handed me an envelope labeled Hale T, pending. Inside were reports, clippings, and my father's handwriting. A county order from 1996 cited environmental hazard. One paragraph was blacked out unevenly, like someone had done it by hand. A newspaper clipping followed. 3 teens missing near Bryer Cave, 1974. No bodies, no closure. My father's notes were careful, measured. He had drawn the cave layout, then added a second chamber not on any official map. Low tunnel, sound source. There was a Polaroid, a camera mounted inside the cave entrance. Under it, my father had written, "Why would a sealed cave have a live eye?" "Did he go in?" I asked. The librarian exhaled slowly, once, came back pale, asked me if I'd ever heard a machine that breathes. Fear reveals things we avoid. I realized then why I couldn't leave. If I turned back now, this would stay unfinished for both of us.
But I stood there with the envelope in my hands and felt something ugly in my throat. Not bravery. A question. What if my father stopped because he wanted it buried?
Rails embedded in stone, platforms bolted to the floor. In the back alcove, the wall had been cut smooth. Painted on it was a symbol, a circle, 3 vertical lines beneath it, like a signal tower or a warning. Below it were dates: 1973, 1974, 1975, 1976, each one carved deep. Not a list of years, a count. Log entries followed. Test window, do not engage. Contact event, radio loss. Retrieval complete, keep site quiet. The hum changed again, lower now, uneven. A metal box was bolted to the wall. Audio monitor, County Emergency Services. Installed October 12, 1996, 2 days before my father marked the cave. Taped beneath it was a note in pencil. If you're reading this, please don't leave me in here. My stomach dropped. I felt my hands start to shake, then go numb. I imagined him standing here alone, listening, realizing he couldn't explain this away. I leaned toward the monitor and whispered, "Dad?" For a moment, nothing. Then far beyond the wall, something moved. A slow scrape. The hum spiked, not louder but tighter, focused. My breath locked painfully in my chest.
I didn't run. I couldn't. Then the sound stopped. That was worse. I turned and crawled back, scraping my knees raw. When I burst into daylight, my legs gave out. I sat there shaking, palms pressed to the ground, heart racing like it was trying to escape. Only then did the fear loosen its grip. Back in town, the waitress from the diner went still when I said my father's name. My mom worked county EMS, she said quietly. She went up there more than once. She said the cave isn't folklore, she added. It's a wound. That night, I uploaded the photos I'd taken. Rails, reflectors, the monitor label. No symbols, no logs. I posted anonymously. At dawn, I returned to the cave one last time. Not to go in, just to stand at the entrance. I slid the Polaroid and my father's map into a crack in the limestone. Not an ending, a boundary. Before leaving, I scratched a simple line in the dirt. Thomas Hale was here. He listened. As I walked away, the hum thinned, like a radio station sliding out of range. It wasn't gone. It was just farther away. Every few steps, I thought I felt it again. A faint pressure behind my teeth, a memory in my bones. Then the woods opened, the sunlight hit the leaves, and the feeling dropped behind me like a door closing. Whatever it was, I chose not to name it. My father had gone far enough to see the shape of the truth, and then stopped. That mattered.
Thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next story.